Today I'm working on the Bloomfield Cemetery sign, version 3. Okay. First two, despite good intention, I've been having a hard time finding letters that are not just of some composite material, but actually lasered out of whole wood. And I found some that are birch, and that's what I'm going with. These composite ones, unfortunately, they swell up and then cracks the paint and blah blah blah. So I want a sign that's going to last all 4 seasons and not just 3 of them. So I got the cemetery spelled out in some laser cut wood. I'm going to get the old ones taken off here, stain the boards, because the hardware, I got the hardware in place, so instead of putting these letters on new boards, I'll just clean up the old board and stain it. And then I'm going to paint the letters, probably the same color, but I'm staining the board in pecan stain, which is going to be a little darker than the pressure treated wood. I'll just have to see how the contrast is. And but there's some part that I enjoy doing this, and some part I don't. I don't like having to go back and redo stuff. So we had a really good weekend at the cemetery and the bell tower. Bell tower had a lot of weeds, so I knew I was going to have to hang out there for a bit, spray some Roundup. I understand that folks have feelings about Roundup, and it's a very effective tool. I put it out there that if someone in the community wants to take responsibility and start applying some home brew of, soap and vinegar and whatever ingredients to take care of weeds. If someone wants to step up and do that, then you got my promise that I won't use Roundup. So we just need the weeds to stay at bay, because bell tower deserves to be kept clean. And it'll help once we get all those willows out of there. Those things are rascals. You can imagine if just nobody did anything to the bell tower, it would only take a couple of years. Those willows would totally take it over again, breaking up the fence, and eventually just start damaging it. And if it's cluttered up, nobody's ever going to use it, which is certainly counterproductive to the reason it's there. Anybody goes up to the cemetery next couple days, they're just going to see a blank space where the sign used to be. New letters are a little different font than the previous two attempts. So while the old letters created a silhouette on the board, it's kind of makes it easy to replace the letters because there's like a guide to work with. But like I said, the font's a little different, and this board's going to get stained. Grab my box of letters. M is for balloon and cemetery. E for Ed. All right. Whew. So I guess I need to get some cardboard out here. Start laying these dudes out. Yeah, I guess I could have paid a little extra and got them painted. I don't know if they had to painted them in the color I want. So these guys are 6 inches. They're beveled edges or straight cut edges. Yeah, the font's a little more fancy than what we had last time and the time before that. Remember, third time. But you know that saying, third time's a charm. Maybe there's something to that, some substance to that, which would be cool. I'd take that. Grab a box here so I can paint. Guess I probably should open it up, make some kind of booth type effect. That'd probably be best. Here we go, here we go. Without getting a paper cut. Thank you. I think in the past I've done this out in my side yard, but I wasn't filming it then like I am now. Jeopardy. Oh. My daughter used this box for a game called Jeopardy. She has categories written at the top. It's pretty cool having a 12-year-old daughter, I gotta say. Although she makes me feel somewhat Apple phone illiterate at times, but whenever I need to know something about, she was the first one to. She was making YouTube videos, and she encouraged me to start doing a YouTube channel for the cemetery. So that's how it all got started. So yeah, I'm grateful for that because I'm grateful that all this information is public. You know. Let's see what color we have here. If this brown totally gets lost in the pecan stain, then I'm going to have to go a different direction. Green letters might look kind of funky. You know what I mean? Green letters on brown. Okay. Wow. These letters totally get lost. I know the stain is going to dry back. And these letters are embossed a 1/4 inch. I mean, they'll be embossed when they're sitting on the board. So I think maybe I ought to just go for it. Yeah, I think so. So it'll be brown on brown. But when I go to mount them, I expect that the pecan stain is going to be dry and it's going to dry back to a more matted look. I trust that's going to happen. So I'm going to go with that. Ooh, that smell. Little version 4 therapy. I will shoot the backside of these letters also. And hopefully that helps to seal them some. I've had that philosophy before, and it didn't pan out. But who knows? Maybe these guys will be different. Better. I think I got another can of this stuff. Driver's seat, yeah. Driver's seat. Jimmy was sweet. What's this? Mm-hmm. This stuff can be kind of fun. I thought about gluing these, but upon further reflection, if I have to do this again, I don't want to have to fight with these things to get them off. So, mm-hmm. Mm.
Are you doing the sign again?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. What is that? It's good. A yellow jacket.
Well, you too. As long as I don't mysteriously forget how to spell Bloomfield, I think I'm going to get this thing pretty good shape. The spacing is a little tricky. Gotta admit that. Kind of following the same spacing I did last time. But who knows if that, I mean, the thing looked all right. Mm-hmm. Mic check, mic check. Where we at? There it is. Hmm. Wow, it's getting hot. Mm. All right. Well, what do you think? Looks pretty straight. It's got some good character on it. And the light casting down on it. Yeah, it works. Two-tone is sufficient. Board that says cemetery on it. Previously, I had the opening date for the cemetery of 1860. And I did not order those letters and numbers to be cut in wood. So might have to get them local, but in the meantime, I'll get this sign back up. And maybe I'll order them from the same company. Smaller font size. And I'll just install those at a later date. It's easy enough to take these boards off of the assembly hardware at the cemetery. But I don't want to be held up by those letters, those numbers. Guess someday if we put the archway back up over the gate, we could leave this in place off to the north side. Oh, it's a bit now. The original archway, as you see in the photo, had Bloomfield Cemetery across the top of the entry. I like the originality of all that. So I guess when the time comes and we get that up, we can decide if we want to put the wording up top or leave it off to the right. I assume with the footings being dated 1929, that archway was probably installed in 1929. I wonder if there was something there before that archway was installed. It's probably one of those things back in the day, who was going to spend money to have a photographer come out and photograph the entry to a cemetery. I would have, certainly. But back then, that stuff cost money. Take portraits of your family, maybe your home, but the cemetery? Guess not. I don't know if they considered, um, who's going to care at some point. Once your loved ones are in the ground, they can go up the hill and mourn and celebrate, talk to their loved one. That they probably thought, 1 or 2 generations from now, no one's going to care. Through learned experience, I'm going to become the sign whisperer at some point. I won't know how this thing's going to hold up till we get rain on it. And just like we got a bonnet, a little roof over the plot map sign, probably should put the same up over this sign. That would keep the rain off it, improve the longevity, keep me away from version number 4, because number 3 is supposed to be a winner, right? 3 times a winner, 3rd time. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. Just about there, or we are there. Okay. So this one here has cemetery. Notice it's higher up. Right here. Last time I had EST established 1860. I might put the actual day, month of August 1860. I mean, why not? So, and I'll just leave it like that for the time being. But at least this board has stain protection on it now, and the letters are wood. They got paint. So I trust this one's better. Better than the last one. Better than the first one. Just better. Here's the completed sign with new letters and fresh stain on the boards. The contrast turned out better than I thought it would. Pecan stain on the boards and red oxidized primer paint in a matte form on the letters. So they came out pretty good, and I'm sure once it's hanging up there in the sunshine, there'll be even a little bit better contrast with the cascading light showing the shadows of the letters, the embossed letters. And I will get new hardware, the S hardware that goes in right here and here, also up top. That's what hangs off of the sign cross member at the cemetery. And then new S turn right here. These go on the uprights. There's an eyelet on the upright too that holds the bottom board in place. So the top board hangs off of the cross member of the sign. The second sign board hangs from the first, and then it's held in place side to side with eyelets both left and right. So I'll get the new S-turn hardware because it was looking kind of rusty. Kind of looked like those guys do, but unfortunately I dropped a couple of them in that bush that hangs out underneath there, and I bet I would not find them if I tried. So I'll just get new ones, and I'll take stain up to the cemetery when I install this. I'll I'll stain the uprights and the cross member that are stationary up there, so everything matches. But this one looks better. It's the best so far. So I'm just going to hope for the best that we can have all 4 seasons and have it come out looking good. We'll put up a little roof over it to protect it from excessive rain and hope for the best.